Hi, and welcome to part 5 of the video series Accelerating AI with Continuous Delivery. Now, in this part, what we'll be doing is we will be using the code that we've written so far, and we will deploy it to a platform called HuggingFace. Now, what's HuggingFace? So, HuggingFace is an open source data science platform. It's basically an online app. And in this app, you can build, deploy, train, and share the models that you are doing. This is like really useful for the open source community, and it allows you to also reuse existing models as well. So without further ado, let's deploy our code to Hugging Face. So be sure you create an account on Hugging Face. The link for registration is located down below. Now, once you've created an account and logged in, you can browse their community. So they have lots of existing models that you can use in your projects, and make sure you just check the license for those models beforehand. So some of them are open source, while some of them can include a commercial license. Now, what we need to do is we need to create a space on Hugging Face. So we can do that by going into our profile over here and clicking on the new space button. Now, what is this space? Basically, this space is where you will deploy your cats and dogs application. Now we can name it anything we want, but I'm just going to name it cats and dogs AI. And for the license part, you can just leave it as such. We can just specify something, but make sure you specify a license that corresponds to the project that you're doing. Now, the next step, the space, we are going to select Streamlit because we use Streamlit for our app. And then we just need to click on create space, and the space will get created. Now, this is the first step. So the next step is adding our key to our profile. So our public key to our profile. Now let's do that right now. Let's go into our profile settings. So let's click on our profile icon and click on settings afterwards. Now we need to go into SSH and GPG keys. Now you might be asking yourself, why are we adding this key? So this key is needed so that Hugging Face knows who we are. So basically we authenticate ourselves with this key. Now, in order to add this key, you need to click on the Add SSH Key button. You can name the key anything you want because you can create multiple keys for multiple people or teams or environments. So let's just write an example, which is the most boring name we can think of right now. And inside here, you need to copy your public key contents. Now you can use the utility pbcopy to do this. Just make sure you copy the key which you've created using the instructions down below this video. Now, once you paste in your public key over here, you can just click on the add key button and the key will get added to your profile. Now, the next step, once you've created the key, is to connect our local app to Hugging Face. So we want to upload it to Hugging Face, and let's do that right now. Okay, open up the terminal inside your project, and then what we will be doing is we will be using a file called deploy.sh to deploy your project to Hugging Faces. Now this script is located in the root directory of the app, and you can see that it's a basic bash script that basically what it does is it checks out the repository, it copies everything into a temporary directory, and it basically uploads all of the changes to the Hugging Face repository. Now let's go and trigger the deploy command. So the deploy command is located in the instructions below, and it's also located inside the GitHub repository. So this command looks like this. First, we just specify the deploy.sh name. So this is the name of the script. And the second argument over here is where your project is located on Hugging Faces. The last argument that you need to specify is this one. So this is the location of your public key, which is the key that you've created earlier. Now make sure you copy the correct path to this key. Now let's have a look at where this link is located. To locate the Hugging Face link of your project, just go into your profile area and go into your profile, and then you will see that this is the first space that you've created. So click on this space, and if you haven't uploaded anything yet, which you probably haven't, you just need to click over here on the SSH part, and this is the address that you need to copy. So copy this address right now, and then you can insert it into the command. Now let's trigger this command. Once this command is triggered, everything will be uploaded to your Hugging Face repository, and it might take some time. So be sure to wait it out, and we'll do the next step once the files are uploaded. Now this last command basically uploads all of your models, and they are a bit big, so it might take some time depending on how fast your internet provider is. Once this is uploaded, make sure you go to your project, so the one where we've copied the link earlier. Now, once you're here, you can go into the Files tab to check if everything was uploaded, and you can see that it was uploaded. Now, if we go back to our project, so if we click on this, it's still empty. Now, sometimes Hugging Face won't detect the main file of our project, so what we need to do is we need to click over here, so we can just create this file directly in our browser, even if it is located in the files that we have. So first, let's go into the files directory, and what we need to do is let's click on app.py, and let's just edit this, and we just need to copy everything. Now, once you copy everything, go back to your project over here, and then we can click on this link. Once we click on this link, we can go over here, paste it up, and here we can just say create app.py as our message. Once this is done, just click on this button, commit new file to main. And what's going to happen is if we go back to our main page, you can see that the building has been triggered. So this will build your project and your app should be ready. So let's wait a few seconds until this deploys and builds, and we're going to have a look at our deployed app afterwards. Once the image is built, you can see that there's no indicator over here, and you can just click on this space and it will open up your app. Now this app is now located online, and you can copy the link and you can share it to other people. Now each time you update your code locally and trigger the deploy command, this app will get updated as well. So make sure you share your app to the rest of the world. Now the next step that we are going to do is we are going to use a tool called Docker to build a local image of this app. Now let's go and do that. Okay, so now let's build the Docker image of our project. Now, what is Docker? So Docker is an environment that allows you to run your apps inside containers. Now, what does this mean? These containers can be like built into a single file, and then you can like use this file to host your app inside cloud providers, so either AWS or anything similar. Now Docker is super useful because you can easily manage all of your apps on your local machine without this having an effect on your environment. So you don't need to install a lot of the things that you need to install in order to run the app. So let's build the Docker image right now. So to build this image, we just need to run this command. So docker build, and we specify the name of the image, and dot means that it will find the Docker file inside our local directory. Now let's run this command. It takes some time to build this image. Now, when I say that it finds the Docker file, so where is this Docker file located? Now, to find the Docker file, it's named Docker file, and if we go, it's located in the root of our project. Now, this contains a few commands. It's not necessary that you know all of the details, but you can check them out. But the thing that is like really important here is this last part. So which command gets triggered? And if you remember, this streamlit command is the command that runs our server. Now, once this image is built, we can actually run it on our local machine. So now let's run this Docker image. Okay, so let's open up Docker Desktop, which is an app that kind of tracks all of the containers that you're running locally. And let's also open up our browser. Now, in order to run the Docker image that we've just created, we need to use this command. So docker run, and then we specify on which port it needs to run and what's the name of the container that we want to run. So now let's just click enter, and what happens is you can see that the app starts running. Now, the app runs on port 8501, so if we go and open it up, you can see that we have the app running locally, just like we did before. But in this case, it's in a containerized enclosed environment, and we can easily delete it or move it somewhere else. And this is how you build and run the Docker image. This kind of concludes this part. We've deployed our app. So what's next? Now we want to go into continuous delivery in the next part. This basically means that every time we change our code, this process gets automated. Instead of us doing it manually, we want for it to be automated. So we will check out how CI/CD works, we'll do an intro, and we'll set up the workflow itself. So make sure you subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.